Flosstube. Welcome back. I'm Erin, the 2 Martini Stitcher, both here on YouTube and Instagram, and this is my channel about cross stitch. It is Sunday, May 10th, and this is my regular Flosstube update today. So those of you who are subscribed, first of all, thank you. If you're subscribed, have notifications on, you might have seen that I've been doing like little super fast, really quick little daily vlogs each day the past week, but this is my regular weekly update where we're going to talk about all the things and see all the things. So if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here, and we're gonna talk all cross stitch stuff. So cheers. I am recording a little early today. During May, while it's Maynia and I'm doing daily videos, I really want to get my weekly videos. Typically I record them on Sunday evenings and then they upload overnight and I post them on Mondays. But I'm trying to record them early and post them on Sundays so that you're getting a video every day. It is Mother's Day, so I've got a little mimosa. We had breakfast. My middle daughter made me breakfast, and yeah, it's lovely. So it's definitely mimosa kind of day. Since we normally do cross stitch happy hour here with the earlier in the day, I haven't been doing happy hour, but Mother's Day feels like a brunch mimosa kind of day. So for those of you that are celebrating Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. I know that this can be a difficult day for a lot of people, and if you're one of those people that Mother's Day is hard for you, just know that I see you and I'm thinking about you, and I hope that you get to enjoy a relaxing day and do some stitching or take some time for yourself on this day. So cheers with the mimosa. So what have I been up to this week? It was the first full week of Maynia. I am having a lot of fun. It has been, we'll see if I can keep this up all month, but so far I have been loving Maynia. I've been spinning daily. So for those of you who might be new here, if you're unfamiliar with what Maynia is, I'm going to call it Cross Stitchers Celebration Month. May is celebration month for cross stitchers. It started in a Facebook group. You can look it up on Facebook, Stitch Maynia. I'll actually just link it below. I link all the things in the description box below. So I'll link the Facebook group below, and you can go there, and there's a really great pinned post, announcement post that tells you all about the origins of Stitch Maynia. For me, I am doing this year 21 new starts. So I'm starting a new project every weekday in May. And then I had 4 projects. This is my first year doing Maynia. Last year I was pretty new back to the cross stitch community and did not do Maynia because I had just kind of found Flosstube and all the amazing community on Facebook and Instagram. However, I did have a bunch of new starts last May. I had 9 new starts in May. It was not a coordinated effort at all. I just happened to start 9 things in May. I still have 4 projects that are WIPs from last May. So each weekend I am dedicating to one of those WIPs and then starting a new project every weekday in May. So this past week was the first full week. I have some wheels that I'm spinning, doing daily vlogs. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm very excited for week 2. So I will show you guys quickly those projects with my regular works in progress, along with other things that I worked on. I won't spend a lot of time on them because you guys will have seen them in my daily vlogs, but for some people, keeping up with a daily vlog is not their thing. So I will show them quickly here. I did have 1 small finish this week. And so we're going to do works in progress. We'll do finishes. We have a little bit of haul. Yeah, so let's get started. It was a really great, fun week. I know a lot of you guys have like snow and like some kind of crazy polar vortexes going on. It's gorgeous here in the Pacific Northwest. We're having unseasonably warm weather. It's in the 80s and sunny yesterday and today. Our parks and trails reopened on Friday for recreation with appropriate masking, social distancing, all that good stuff. My husband had Thursday and Friday off of work. His boss told everybody to take a couple days off, with everybody working from home. They're super busy and everybody's working maybe a little bit too much, just being home and working all the time. So he had Thursday and Friday off. So we did some fun biking on Friday, have just been hanging out, and today is just a nice relaxing day at home. So other than that, it's been just a normal week, but today really feels like the end of a 4-day weekend because he kind of had a 4-day weekend, and so today really kind of does feel like at the tail end of a holiday weekend, which is kind of nice. So what did I get working on this week? First, I'll show you guys full coverage because I am trying to keep my full coverage rotation going. They're not getting as much love, I've noticed, with Maynia this past week, but they did get some love. So this week in rotation was Farewell to Anger. This is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is just the regular chart, regular size, regular colors of Farewell to Anger. And I did work on it. Let's see, I didn't get a ton. I worked on it every night. I didn't work on it Friday night or Saturday night, but I did get 456, like 800 stitches. I got like 800 stitches in, which would make sense. So I finished out this diagonal, and I think that's part of it is I just didn't feel like starting another diagonal, but I got this whole diagonal all completed, and that's where we are on Farewell to Anger. Like 4.5% done. I think I need to, those of you who, I kind of need some advice, because that's the other thing too. I'm now to the point where it's going to be a little squeezy to get in another full diagonal. Like I'm going to be bumping into the edges. So I kind of want to move the Q-snap. If there are any of you that do big full coverage pieces on the diagonal like this, do you like move over and do you work all the way through the diagonal every time and just move your Q-snap like once or twice as you move through the diagonal? Because these diagonals are going to get really big and long. Or do you work like the top half of several diagonals and then move your Q-snap and do the bottom half of the diagonals? I'm trying to decide how I want to tackle this, essentially. I'm not really sure. I definitely need to move the Q-snap. I mean, I could get in over here, but it just starts to get a little awkward and tight when, you know, you've got the fabric kind of rolled up in the back and there's no need to fight with it. So I kind of want to move the Q-snap. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to position it. And if I'm going to work all the way through the diagonal, or if I'm going to do the tops of a couple and then move down. I don't know. Suggestions. I welcome any and all suggestions. But that's where we got to. I love this piece. Love it. Love it. The colors are gorgeous. This is on 25 count Lugana that's pre-gridded. And I'm stitching it 1/1 full cross with the DMC. So that got worked on a little bit each week. When I recorded last weekend's WIP from 2019 was Friends. And I showed you my progress that I had made on Saturday, and I did get some more work on that on Sunday. So this is the project. This is the Friends collage from AnImCrossStitch on Etsy. I'm losing my light. I don't know if the sun's shifting. I may end up pausing you and turning on my ring light. I thought I was getting good enough natural light in here, but the sun's starting to move. We'll see. I was working down here on the couch. I had part of the couch stitched last Sunday, and I really wanted to get that couch done. And I got the cross stitches done. So I didn't get any of the back stitching done. I finished up the stitching on this. It's deceptively big. That's like over 1,000 stitches of 4 or 5 shades of brown. I really kind of wanted to start the back stitching, but it's a lot of back stitching. Abby was like, don't do it. Don't start it. You'll be up till 2 o'clock in the morning. She was right. So the next time this comes out, I will definitely get that back stitched and it will make it look amazing. But for now, I got the big old couch stitched and I'm pretty happy with that. So I was pretty happy with that progress on the weekend because that entire thing went in over last weekend. So now this goes back, and I had started this May 15th of last year. So it's coming up on its birthday. That's fine. It'll get done when it gets done. I'm not too worried about it. It doesn't, I need to find a different bag for it. This is my first project bag when I kind of got back into cross stitch outside of doing the girls' stockings. I had one project and I bought this from 31 and had it embroidered to say Stitch and Sit. And then I was like, oh, I can fit multiple. So this was like the project bag that I had. This is where I kept my cross stitch until like March of last year when I fell down the Facebook Flosstube rabbit hole. And I think at the time I had 2 projects. I was like, oh, well, I'll put them both in there. And that was crazy town to me to be working on 2 projects at the same time. Oh, how things change. Oh, how things change. Okay, so that was last Sunday. Monday started wheel spinning for Maynia, and the first project that came up, and this came off of my wheel of possible starts, was Metamorphosis by Ink Circles. So my original plan when I showed you guys all of this, all of my kitted projects, and this is my cat. My cat chews the tops of the plastic bags. The black cat, Leo. The older Tonkinese never leaves our room, but Leo loves plastic. If he gets a hold of them, he chews on them. Metamorphosis. So when I first kitted this project up, and what I showed you that I was going to do was I was going to stitch it on, is this, let me find the tag for the fabric. I think it's Plum Street Blend. The tag's in here, I know it is. Must find it. Yes, Plum Street Blend by R&R. So Plum Street Blend with this Needlenecessities that I thought was beautiful, like kind of just my favorite, kind of like jewel tone, autumnal colors. And I was gonna stitch all of them in this one variegated thread. The pattern calls for each of these to be a different color. You can kind of see that. So I pulled this out on Monday, I got started, and this is where I got to. I started that first little motif over here, did the top of that very first flower, and thought, it looks Christmassy. Like, to me, there was more red and green and less orange in this than I kind of thought looking at it. I mean, now it looks really red and green. And I was just really worried that it looked Christmassy. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. It looks kind of Christmassy to me, and I don't want this to be a Christmas piece. So I thought this Needlenecessities was a gift from my friend Carla. She sent me 2 skeins of Needlenecessities along with a project bag she had made. Needlenecessities is now Threadworks. In my little daily vlog, I totally lied and I said the numbers are the same. They're not. Threadworks does keep the same colorways and has the like die configurations, but they have different numbers. I will link, they have a chart on their website that shows you 1301 of Needlenecessities, what the Threadworks number is. And I will link that below because I said, oh, I think they're the same number. They're not the same number. But you can still get this colorway in Threadworks if you love it. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful floss. And I love how it's stitching up. I'm just not sure it's the look that I was looking for. So I went and grabbed the other color that Carla sent me, also gorgeous with the corals and the peach and kind of sagey to gray. And I pulled out this fabric, which is a Color and Cotton 36 count driftwood. I bought it from Kit and Stitcher, but it's Color and Cotton. And I thought, well, that's really pretty too. Let me stitch it up in this colorway and see if I like that better. And there's my start. They're both so pretty. Here's the thing. These are, one, this just goes to show how different the same pattern looks with different floss and linen. That's crazy, right? They're both really pretty. I'm just not sure that it's the look that I'm going for with this pattern. So I kind of had my first Maynia fail, and now I think I'm going to do something totally different with this pattern, and we'll talk more about that later in plans. So there was my very first start on Monday, I start twice on Metamorphosis. They're both pretty, but I'm not sure I'm in love with either one. So for right now, they're going away. That's just getting set aside, which it would anyway until June. And come June, I'm going to pull that out and evaluate, and I have an idea what I'm going to do with it. So that was Monday. What else did I work on Monday? I'm consulting my planner because, as usual, if it wasn't written down, I wouldn't remember. Oh, I had some secret. I've also been working on a little bit of secret stitching this week, so I can't show you that yet. It's a gift for a friend. I'm not model stitching or anything. I'm not that cool to be a model stitcher for anybody. I think it would be super fun. I think it would be really fun to model stitch for somebody. I just don't. Yet, I guess I should just always say yet, because I always say, oh, I'm not doing that, or whatever. You never know. I would love to. It'd be really fun. But this particular secret stitching is a gift for a friend, and I think that they may watch this, so I won't show that. I'll show it once it's all sent off. So that was Monday. Monday I worked on Metamorphosis, Farewell to Anger, and a little bit of secret stitching. And then Tuesday was a planned Maynia start of Stitch or Die by Heartstring Samplery. I'm stitching this with Leslie Hurley. She's Leslie Hurley on Flosstube, That Cat Flossing on Instagram. I'll link her below because she's really fun. You should go watch her and check out her Instagram. She stitches amazing stuff. But we're going to start this together, Stitch or Die. I got a lot of stitching time that day. I stitched on a couple of work calls that I was just listening to, so I got a lot done. And I also, it turns out, made a mistake. So this is where I got to. I got a lot of the border done. I got the words in, and I did the little black cat. Here's my, some of these are called for, some of them are not. I don't know why that one's not on the ring. So I made some substitutions. I'll have all the information for the colors I'm using below in the description box, but I brightened it up a little bit. And obviously the cat is not black. You should go check out Leslie's. She breeds Burman kitties that are adorable, and she turned hers into a little Burman. So, but the mistake I made, and an eagle-eyed viewer caught it and emailed me. So thank you guys for all having my back. I really appreciate that. I did one stem too many. It should end here. And they caught that and said, you might want to check. I think maybe you did one too many. Yep, I did. This is what I get for stitching on a work call. But so there's now a note in my chart. So when I come back to this, I can take this out. But this is going to be like, I feel like another day or two, I could finish that up. Easy. And that's going to be great. So I want to start making a list of the Maynia projects that I want to circle back to, because I think they would be easy finishes. Of course, I think they'll all be easy finishes. So I worked on that most of the day, and Farewell to Anger. Wednesday, I spun a possible Maynia start and came up with Bendy, Stitchy, You're Okay. Love this. Love this. That was a Nashville release from Michelle, and I am stitching it on 18 count Vintage Country Mocha Aida, and that's where I got to. And I'm using called for flosses. Like, so far that's just steamed broccoli, and she calls for 310. I'm using Anchor Black just because that's what I have and I prefer, but there's a couple other colors in other projects, but that's my center start, my kind of strange center start. But this is a fun stitch. This is a fun stitch, and I think it's gonna look great. I'm stitching that with 2 strands on 18 count, and I think it looks fantastic. So that's your okay. Here's my problem with Maynia though. I want to come back to all of these projects. Like, it's so fun seeing what's gonna come up every day and, ooh, what do I get to start today? But I also kind of want to now stitch all the things. Thursday was a spin on my 4-shore start, and I spun Primitive Tarot Notions Needlebook by Wild Violet Cross Stitch. I am stitching this on also 18 count Aida, and this I tea coffee dyed myself and just baked the heck out of it, and it came out so awesome and crusty. You need this much to do the inside, so this will be the outside of the needlebook, and then there's some pockets and stuff, and you need another piece for the inside. So I think, and I got good progress on it. So this is where I got to. Amazing needle minder from Abby Topknot. And I'm stitching this in 1 strand of Blackbird. So 18 count, here's the thing. I stitch on everything. I stitch less on the even weaves, and I don't know why, but I like an even weave. And I say that, but I have projects on even weave. Stitch on Aida, I stitch on linen. On 18 count Aida, 36 count linen, I'll stitch 2 strands, I'll stitch 1 strand. I just feel like it's whatever the project calls for. But I like the look of this with 1 strand, so. And I almost got that whole first guide done. Now, each one of these is like completely has like a whole backstitch border. But once again, I also think this would stitch up pretty quick. Don't burst my bubble. I'm sure that all of these projects are just gonna stitch up so quick. So, yeah. So there's Primitive Tarot Needlebook, Notions and Needlebook. And then also in this bag, because it didn't have a bag, and it just seemed like these projects weirdly went together. On Friday, I spun for my Possible and came up with Blackbird by Blackbird Designs. So this is my first Blackbird spin off of my Possible Maynia starts. I said I'm only going to do 2. I think I have 4 Blackbirds on my Possible start wheel. And I'm only going to do 2 of them because I want to make sure that I get a good mix of designers. So this will be the first one. And once again, a small project that I'm sure I could whip right out. But it just made me laugh that I spun this one right after Primitive Tarot Notions, because I'm doing this on 36 count Beach Brew linen with Blackbird. So 2 days in a row, I spun a monochromatic design that I'm stitching in Blackbird. I did not have as much stitchy time on Friday because we went on that really nice long bike ride around the lake. So this is kind of my sad start. But this is going to be a really fun stitch, and I think we'll stitch up pretty quick. That border is pretty easy. This is like only 2 lengths of floss of the Blackbird. So there it is. That's my start on that. The other reason that I didn't get a ton done on that is because it was Friday, and if you guys have been around for a little while and recall, on Friday I am also stitching a project that I didn't bring up here. Hold please, I'm going to put you on pause while I go fetch a project that I forgot to stick in my bag. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I feel like I do this every week. Okay, as I was saying, if you've been around for a little while, you know that on Fridays, while we're under these stay-at-home orders, I have been stitching. On Friday, I've been doing a Freebie Friday distance stitch and doing one of the freebie Be Well and Stitch, hashtag Be Well and Stitch charts. So this week's no different. I wanted to start one on Friday, and it was just such a cute little one that I just started and finished it. I did decide to start on another piece of 32 count. So I'm doing all of these on the same linen with the same color scheme. I'd originally been thinking that I would do these all as like little pin pillows. And then I would have like a bowl or basket full of them. We're getting to have quite a few. So these are the ones I have so far. We're under stay at home for the rest of May in my state. So I'm gonna have at least, I have the one I stitched this week plus like 3 more. I'm starting to think about maybe a quilted wall hanging. Here's the thing, I don't quilt, I'm not a quilter. So any of you that are quilters, can I cut these out and make them like, put them into a quilt with like border and do some kind of quilted wall hanging with all of these? I don't know if that's a thing. I mean, obviously not just like this because I did some sideways and the spacing's weird, but cut them out and turn them into a wall hanging because this is what I have so far. So I've used all the same color palette for all of them, but I decided I need another piece. So I pulled another piece of 32 count platinum linen. I didn't pull that big of a piece because I'm really hopeful that we'll just have this month. But I did the freebie from Shepherd's Bush. Look how adorable that is. And this was, I mean, you guys can see it's tiny and it was a quick stitch. On their chart, it says you be well, E-W-E, like the little sheep. But I just, since all my other ones say be well, I just did be well. So there we go. And I used that same color palette. All the other ones use collards as the green, Weeks Dye Works collards. I ran out of it on this one that I did last week. So I switched it out for Classic Colorworks English Ivy, which I think is pretty close. But all the rest of them are the same. So that's my Be Well piece for this week. So I did that on Friday and then the start of Blackbird. And that's what I did on Friday. And we'll see. Still have a few more weeks to pick some more of those charts. There's so many. It's really fun. Okay. And then yesterday, I pulled out my next WIP from last year, and that is, I started on May 20th, and it's this Mill Hill Buttons and Bead Kit Latte. So this is the old WIP that I'm working on this weekend. And I posted on Instagram where I started. Yesterday I posted a starting pic so you can see where it is, but I got some good progress on this yesterday. Let me get something to put behind it. So I did like almost this entire side. Like I had part of the border and this light tan down to like here. So I did all the rest of that light tan and then started coming back in this darker color, and some more of that tan is in these squares. So I'm getting some good work on that. I know that I started this last year for like School of Magical Stitches for a color. Anytime I needed red, I pulled this out, or to work on something with red, or to work on something that had beads, because this will have beads. But other than that, I never really worked on it, and I forget how fun these are. So I'm using, like, I'm stitching it on the perforated paper with all the kit flosses. I did mount it, I did tack it onto this frame, because I find it a little easier to stitch on the perforated paper on a frame rather than holding it. And this is just a stretch canvas that I tore the canvas off. So it's in 8x8, and then the Mill Hill perforated paper fits perfectly, and I just tack it on. And then I can use a little needle minder and everything. So, and I got those stretch canvases. I bought them to like finish cross stitches on, and they were fairly inexpensive. I think they came in like a 6-pack from Amazon. I'll put the link below. But to me, this is the best way I found to work on this perforated paper. And I really enjoy stitching these Mill Hill kits. I don't know why I don't reach for it more often to stitch on, because when I do, it's really fun. So I'm gonna work on that some more today. I'm gonna I want to get all of this border done, and then maybe start working along the top and work my way down. So I'm gonna give that some more work today. It's really fun. It didn't make it on my like WIP Go board or anything like that, so it just kind of hangs out. I have the frame. I bought the Mill Hill frame to frame it in. I know where it's gonna go in my kitchen. You'd think I'd get it done. And then Yesterday, I also randomly had another new start because I thought 21 wasn't going to be enough. So this is not a Maynia start. This is not a Maynia start. I am not really playing in Enchanted Stitching this month. They did something kind of different. Like you get to pick your own movie, and they kind of had one big month-long challenge thing, which I think is great for May. My brain is just full with Maynia. Like I don't have the mental capacity to figure out how to make those fit. So I'm just mainly playing in Semi-Sane Stitchers this month. And one of the things that they have going on all year that I know I've talked about is Alphabet Soup. But starting this past week, we moved to J. So you have to stitch on a design that starts with the letter J, or the design company, or the first or last name of the designer has to start with J. So I was looking through my stuff, and I totally could have picked up one of my long dog samplers because the designer is Julia Line, so J. But I've had this kitted for like months, and I don't know why I started it, and it's a small piece, and I just wanted to pick it up and start it. So yesterday I started, this is not, I can't show you the chart. It was the January, it was the January Patreon exclusive from Bendy Stitchy Designs that she called January Basket. She charted this sweet little basket motif off of one of her antique samplers, and then put a little bit of the border off to the side as like a little pretty pin keep. And I've had this kitted up for months to do. And so I thought, I'm going to start that. I just really felt like starting that. It's got some fun stuff going on. So here is my start on the January Basket by Bendy Stitchy. But you can see it's got a little bit of 1/1 in the stems. And then these down here, the basket has a bunch of smeared crosses in it. Am I really losing my light? Hold on, I'm going to turn on my ring light. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I was losing the sun around the back of the house. It's also getting very warm in here. It's supposed to go back down to like 60s and rainy tomorrow, so we didn't bother to turn the air on over the weekend, which is fine. We just got air conditioning 2 summers ago because the house didn't have it when we bought the house 15 years ago. Most of the houses in the Seattle area at the time didn't. It just doesn't get warm enough here to need it. Global climate change, now it kind of does. So we finally put air in, but we didn't bother to turn it on. So if I'm getting a little glowy, it's because it's starting to get a little warm up here. So anyhow, January basket. Now maybe you can see that better. So the basket, you can see I just started on them, has a bunch of smeared crosses on it. There's just some fun stuff going on, and it's small. What is the size? It's 52 by 43. So this will be an easy quick stitch that I'll just pick up here and there, but this is my start for Alphabet Soup, J for January. And as I said, that's the exclusive, that was a January exclusive through her Patreon, which is a really fun place to hang out. I highly recommend her Patreon group. So that's it. That's everything I worked on this week. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. So plans for this coming week. More Maynia spins. So full coverage will be Harry Potter. Harry Potter will come back out this week. I kind of, with Maynia, I'm working like an hour or two on whatever I spin for the day. And then in the evenings after dinner, I tend to get several hours of stitching. So I'll work on whatever the start is for a couple hours, and then I will switch to the full coverage. So they're still getting some love. So Harry Potter will come back out this week as the full coverage. Maynia spins every day, and I will continue to do daily vlogs. And then I have a couple kind of recurring projects that I work on every month that will also come out this week. So those days that Maynia start might not get as much stitching, or the full coverage, Harry Potter might not get stitched, we'll see. So on Tuesday the 12th, I will also be working on Crosses of the Kingdom for my parents' anniversary. Then the next day, the 13th, is Dark 13, and Tingles will get pulled out, and I'll work on that. I want to make sure that block gets done. They usually go pretty quick. I can usually get those done in a couple days of stitching. And then next weekend's WIP will come out, and that's a cute little design. It's nap time. I might even be able to finish that next weekend, which would be great. But other than that, it's going to be more Maynia. I'm so excited. And I'm starting to get sad about the projects that are not going to get spun on that possible Maynia wheel. And I need to figure out when this is over, I'm going to have to do some kind of like, because I'm going to have those all kitted and I'm going to want to start them. So I'm going to have to figure out like finish 2 projects. I get to start one. That might be, I had not set prizes for my WIP Go board. So if you guys are unfamiliar with WIP Go, it's a group. I will link it below. It's put together by Jessie Marie of Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on Flosstube. She's fantastic. You should totally watch her. If you're not, I will link her channel below. She put together this, it's kind of like a bingo board, and you pick like 24, 25 of your works in progress to put on it. And then she calls 2 numbers every month, and you set your own goal. It's very much like what you set your goal to be. It could be you want to work on that project for 4 days. You want to do a certain number of stitches or hours, or maybe you want to finish it. So here's my WIP Go board. And then once you get like a bingo, a line of bingo on the board, then that's, you set for yourself what your prize is. And I hadn't really set any prizes because for me, one, until I declared bankruptcy, I was doing Stitch from Stash. So it wasn't going to be, you know, some people are like, oh, I kit up something or I buy a project bag or whatever. I just kind of thought most of my things that I picked for WIP Go, my goal was a finish. So to me, I thought, well, the reward is going to be that those things are finished. Now I'm starting to think that every bingo I get to start another one of those projects that didn't get called. And it's going to be hard, honestly, because some of these are page finishes on the full coverage, but I wasn't going to start counting those stitches until it was called. So even though I already have, and one has been called for Farewell to Anger and one has been called for Harry Potter book covers, I've had a page finish on those this year on each of them, but not since they've been called. Does that make sense? So, yeah. So here you can see if it is filled in, it's been called and is finished. If it's just outlined, it's been called. And if it's got like these little hashes through it, that's gobble gob. It's finished, but it hasn't been called yet. So as soon as that's called, I can fill it in. So that's what's been called. So now I'm thinking any bingo I get, line or diagonal, and I do have a free space in the middle, I will get to start one of those projects. It's going to be all kitted up that didn't get started in Maynia, because I have more things kitted and on that wheel than I have days. So that's what I'm thinking. But I can't just, my concern is that Maynia is going to be over and I'm just going to keep starting them all because they're all kitted and ready to go. So I need to have some kind of, I need to have some rules set up for myself. As Annie would say, I have to say, girl, no. As Annie Joyfield Stitcher would say, girl, walk away from the kitted projects. No. But I figure if I get that many like things done off my WIP Go board, that earns me a new start, right? Right? So those are plans for this coming week. And I do have quite a bit of stuff that came in over the week that I want to show because I declared bankruptcy and Stitch from Stash. And so then I apparently just kept buying all the things. After kitting up everything for Maynia for my stash, I was feeling very like, don't have any fabric left because I used up a lot of my stash, which like that's the point. But then apparently I need to restock. First thing is I did get some just Stitchy kindness in the mail. I got a sweet package from a friend who sent me this, because I had given away that complimentary chart from Kitten Stitcher, and she had gotten this one. It is the Primitive Needle Moon Witch. Look how cute that is. And she had just sent me a picture and said, either she's not going to stitch this. I think she said, I'm not going to stitch it. Do you want it? I was like, heck yeah. Look at that. She's got a skull on a like spike. That's awesome. So she sent me that. And then she also sent me a couple of green flosses that I love. And this needle minder. Look at that. That's asparagus. Amazing. And she said, this is so funny. The needle minder was for your eat my veggies pieces. Those pieces you really don't want to work on, but no, you should. But I'll tell you, I actually love asparagus. It's like a favorite vegetable in my family. We love to like roast it until it's like really good and charred and crispy. The girls, when they were little, would call them green fries. So to me, that's just adorable. And I would put that on any project. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it. Love it. Super fun. So I got that. And then from another Stitchy friend, we were chatting back and forth about Metamorphosis the day that I posted kind of a Maynia fail. I don't know. Even as I was stitching it, I was sending her pictures. I'm like, I don't know. It's too Christmassy. I think I'm going to switch this other colorway. I was like, I don't know. And one of the thoughts I had that I had expressed was that maybe, let me get the chart back out. Maybe what I should do is do like a great, like pick one color and go from light to dark and do each motif in a different color, but in the same color or color family. And so this lovely Stitchy friend pulled together a colorway for me in silks and sent it to me. I about died, you guys. And sent it on this beautiful thread keep that looks like one of the Quaker symbols. And look at this color palette. It's pinks to purple to like a dark purpley gray. How, this is amazing. So I think that this is what I'm gonna do. Like as soon as Maynia is over, and I think I'm gonna keep this driftwood because I think it would be amazing on this driftwood. What do we think? Or another gray. We'll see. I'll have to play, but I really do like this color and cotton driftwood. So I think this is what's going to happen with Metamorphosis. And these are my very first Mrs. Seda silks. I'm so excited. They do smell lovely. Everybody still says they smell lovely. They do. This is a total Stitcher thing, isn't it? To sniff our flowers. That was weird. In any other context, that would have been so weird, guys. Okay, I know you're all with me though. It's fine, right? So I think this is what's happening like June 1st is a restart on Metamorphosis in this color palette. I'm so excited. I kind of want to drop everything and start it right now, but I'm also having a lot of fun with Maynia, so I think we'll just circle back to that. So that was Stitchy Kindness. I also got some things in the mail that I had purchased. The first was a package from Be Stitch Me. I had picked up this fabric in Friday night, fight night, a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't know, guys. I keep going back. If you have not tried Be Stitch Me fabrics, everybody was raving about them. Like, I feel like everybody I watch on Flosstube was raving about them. I'm finally like, all right, I guess I better check out Brandy's fabrics. There's a reason everybody's raving about them. I will link the Facebook group below. And she has a website. You can go to the website. She has fabrics on the website that are ready to ship, or you can order any of her colorways and she'll custom dye them for you. But she also posts fabrics on Fridays, not this coming Friday, the 15th. But you can get in there and be ready for the 22nd. On Friday, she posts up fabrics, and it's just how quick you can get on the Me Please. So I picked up this piece of 32 count linen in a colorway she calls Through the Stones. Look how pretty, like dusky blue gray that is. That's really pretty. I really like that. And then if you purchase from her on Friday nights, on Saturdays, she does a whole bunch of giveaways. Like, it's great. She's one of the most generous people I think I've ever come across. She does all these giveaways to people who have purchased. And so that week I won one of the fabric giveaways. Sorry, I didn't take this out of the bag because there's no tag on it. It's just written on the bag what it is. And I got as a giveaway this piece of 16 count Aida. She called this a mini, but that's a decent sized piece of fabric. Look how pretty that blue is. So this is a 16 count Aida from Bendy, especially, and once again, sniffing, her fabric smells really nice. I gotta find out what kind of like fabric softener or detergent she uses because it's got a nice scent to it. So those are some fabric I got from Be Stitch Me. I also placed an order with Country Cottage Needleworks, and I totally blame this on my friend Melissa. As I dig out that order, I put everything in my acorns bag. As it comes in during the week, I dump it in here so it's all together so I can show you guys, and then I won't put it in my stash and play with it. Really missing being able to go down to Acorns and Threads, see everybody and shop in person. So, but my friend Melissa messaged me one night at like, late at night. I'm telling you, all this shopping seems to happen at like 12:30 at night. She sent me a picture of this chart from, I think it was Cottage Garden Needle on Etsy. I'm pretty sure it was Cottage Garden. I will put it below for sure. But she's like, have you seen this turkey pattern? Which my response was, yeah, I've seen it. I have it favorited on Etsy already. And she's like, I just thought you needed to know about it, which made me pull it up. And it's an older pattern. You can tell, does it have a, yeah, 2007. But you can tell by the, way her packaging was that this is a little bit older pattern. And then when I pulled it up, I was like, well, let me make sure I have that favorited, which I did. I think it was like maybe the last one or there were 2 left. So I had to buy it. I also I realized that I would probably need more than one skein. This may not make sense unless it's spun, but for those of you guys who have watched all of my Maynia kitting up craziness videos, the Fragments in Time piece, I was kind of like border, individual. I decided to do it as one big piece with the border, but it made me realize I was probably going to need an additional skein in most of those colors. So I picked up what I could from her. So those, and then Ribbon Red, I had that with Sing a Sampler. I had one skein that was being shared between Sing a Sampler and Fragments in Time. I'm like, that's probably not going to be enough. So I got 2 more Ribbon Red and the couple other colors she had. She didn't have everything for Fragments in Time. And then I also picked up one of Black Crow because, I don't know, I decided to. The problem is, here's the problem. It's actually really handy. On her Etsy shop, you can search patterns by theme, not just by designer, but you can look at like Halloween or Christmas. So when I was pulling up Gobble Gob, it also pulled up all of the like fall, Thanksgiving patterns, and I went on a tear and ordered a whole bunch more turkey patterns. So I also got the Tom Turkey Sampler because I don't have this, and I knew I wanted to stitch this, and Redbird Sampler is in my possible Maynia starts, but I know that I want to stitch Tom Turkey, but I didn't have it, so I bought that one too. And then I also got Not Forgotten Farm Thomas because he's been favorited on Etsy for me forever, and she had him, and he's fantastic. He's wearing a hat, and there's a key, and look how fat and colorful he is. So I went on a turkey tear and bought more turkey patterns. I can't. Somebody stop me. I also, speaking of Leslie Hurley, we did Stitch or Die. I managed to snag, she makes bags and she posts them on Instagram, just on her regular Instagram. She doesn't have a store, but she makes fantastic bags. And when I saw this, I had to get it. I had to get it. Her bags are really well made, very reasonably priced, but look at this vintage thing. It says, so over it. So over it. I had to. So over it. I also got another project bag. I told you guys. I've been shopping for weeks. The post is slow. Things are slow to come in. Apparently a bunch of it just came this week. I picked up another project bag off of Stash Unloading. And I can't remember. There's a woman on Stash Unloading, and I'll link that group below. It's a Facebook group. It's Stash Unloading Cross Stitch Only. There are several, but I know that I got this off of that group because there's a woman on there that makes these like quilt block cross stitch bags. And look how amazing. I've been eyeing them for a while. And then Annie Joyfield Stitcher bought one and said that they were really beautiful and well made, and then I couldn't resist. Look at that French General fabric. I love it. I love it. I have one, I think, in this fabric or this fabric that Lisa Kindred Stitcher made. And then it's got a great little zipper pull with a Singer sewing machine. And then this is the inside. Isn't that gorgeous? And this is all like beautifully pieced together. I mean, the workmanship on this is gorgeous. I wish I had gotten more than one. I will probably buy more bags from her. Because for the amount of work that goes into these were really well priced. So I'll list that group below. Oh, is there a card in here? No. She puts this cute little tag in there. I can't remember her name. I will put that information below where the quilted project bag came from. And then one last order from Fire Poppies. I was missing some DMC, just a few DMC from for And a Four Screw. And also when I started my very first Maynia project, which was something. Okay, hold on. I showed you guys last week. Hold on. Hold, please. I know what it is. It's going to come to me. Mouse. No Mouse Without a House. Without a Mouse by Blackbird. I was stitching that in Witching Hour, and I really quickly realized that I was going to need more than one skein. So, and it's Gentle Arts' new color for market, and Gentle Arts is getting harder to find. So I thought, well, I better real quick see if I can find some. Fire Poppies had it. So I got 2 more skeins of Witching Hour and picked up the DMC colors that I still needed. I'm still missing one. She was out of one of the colors, but still had a fantastic selection. If you're looking for threads, I know they're getting harder and harder to find. Fire Poppy still had some. She also had the Antique Rose that I needed for Fragments in Time. So I picked up these flosses. She can't order just flosses. So I also checked out what fabric she had, and she had this beautiful piece of 32 count vintage gray from R&R. It's just an 1/8, but I love that vintage gray color from R&R. So I snagged that. And then I bought this pattern that I have been eyeing and just decided it was time to buy it. You've seen it everywhere because there's a stitch along that started on the 1st. Putting all my stuff away. The Berry Bowl sampler. When this came out at market, I loved it. And a lot of people are started this on May 1st. Quite a few people are stitching it with a friend and, you know, stitching it on 2 different fabrics and swapping their halves, which I love that idea. Amy from Amy Loves Toads has talked about like sending it around to different friends, to have different friends stitch the cherry, like each do a cherry bowl. I love that idea. My idea for this is kind of a mashup between Amy of Having Friends Stitch a Cherry Bowl and Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy. She had a piece last year that was like her retreat piece. I think it was Death Before D-Stash by Wild Violet Cross Stitch, that at retreats, she would have different people that she was sitting with or met at the retreat stitch on that piece, and it became her retreat piece. And she has marked on the chart who stitched which section. So when this came out at market and we were all planning to go to StitchCon, my thought was that I wanted to buy this chart, start it at StitchCon, and have my friends stitch on it. Maybe not a whole berry bowl, you know, because some of them are kind of big, but have all my friends. Like, I was thinking I would do the cartouche in the middle that says life is sweeter when shared with friends, and I would have my friends at retreats stitch on this, and this would be my retreat piece. Well, everything's kind of being canceled, but I still love that idea. I was thinking that I would buy the chart at Keepsakes when I was there and like kit it all up at Keepsakes and start it. So I bought the chart. That's still my plan. This will still be my retreat piece someday when we can all stitch in person again. But I decided it was time to own the chart because I'm seeing it everywhere. Everybody's starting it. It's gorgeous and amazing. Heartstring, Samplery, and the Scarlet House. I had to at least have the pattern in my hot little hands while everybody else is stitching in it, and it looks amazing. So that's it. That's plenty. So that's everything that came in the mail this week, which was a lot. And I may or may not have gotten some more Be Stitch Me fabric. So that's all I've got for you guys this week. I'm not doing giveaways in May. I kind of talked about that last week. I'm kind of taking May off from the giveaways because I am collecting things for a big celebration the beginning of June. Next week? Is next week? Today's the 10th. Yes. The 16th, this coming week, is my 1-year Flosstube anniversary. Yay! I cannot believe it has been a year. I look back at this journey over the past year and it's just nuts to me. It's been so fun and so rewarding. I can't believe it's a year. So I'm coming up on a year anniversary. I'm creeping up very, very close to 3,000 subscribers. So I'm taking this month to collect lots of fun things, and we'll do a big end of Maynia Flosstube anniversary, 3,000 subscribers extravaganza in June. So no giveaway this week, but I hope you guys are all having a wonderful week, that you're enjoying your stitching, whether you're starting all the things, focusing on whips, just watching all of us nutty people. I'm having so much fun watching everybody's floss tubes and what everybody is doing. So I hope you guys are enjoying your stitching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another spin, and between now and then we'll be spinning for Maynia, but I will definitely be back next Sunday with another full regular floss tube. And until then, cheers.